Hello, this is KRUI Iowa City, and you are listening to Round River Radio with your hosts, Sophia.
And Andrew. How's it going today?
It's going good.
Oh, excellent.
It's a beautiful fall day. I love this weather.
Most definitely. Oh, it was fantastic waking up this morning, not only because of the weather, but because of our exciting radio guests that we have on today's program. We're sitting down with none other than the University of Iowa's own Professor Therm. He'll be explaining who he is, what he's doing here on campus.
Yes, and a lot of information on energy. Hello, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, Sophia, it is absolutely a pleasure to be invited to address this great program. So thank you so much for the invitation. And we do have about 4 or 5 hours, right? Because I could just go on and on and on about energy, because energy is fun. Right, Andrew?
Most definitely.
Okay, super.
Wasn't being encouraged to say that at all. So it's my understanding that you're a professor here on campus. Is that correct?
Well, I am a professor because I call myself a professor, not necessarily because an official degree has been bestowed on me. But I am a Professor K.W. Therm, and I'm the Associate Director for Energy Conservation here at the great University of Iowa. And I office in the University Services Building for anyone who would like to come by and get an autograph from Professor K.W. Therm.
Excellent.
But before I go any further, when I was hearing the banter going back and forth on, especially from you, Andrew, the tips that you were giving on energy conservation, energy efficiency, it was getting me really excited over here, Andrew, and I was busy taking notes. I don't know what you've been doing your research on, Andrew, but you haven't. Well, just common sense type stuff. Man, it was good stuff. And you had the idea of winterization workshop, and I think that is an idea whose time has come. And I'm not sure if it's ever been done on campus, but let's make it happen, Andrew and Sophia.
Yeah.
Shall we do that?
Let's make it happen.
Most definitely. So we already have a program that you guys are all going to have to attend right now.
Required.
It's a winter weather workshop hosted. So if you need help winterizing or weatherizing your home or apartment for the upcoming colder season, we'll figure out a date for this.
Get
this workshop going. Yeah,
that's a great
I was
idea.
hoping, like, the tagline just kept on coming. I was hoping the date would just spill out, and I would subconsciously
I tell you what, this is a little further down in the program, but let me throw this out anyway. Professor Therm has some gigs coming up here in the next month or two. And something that would kind of fits in with this theme about winterization is that I've been invited to co-present with the folks from UI Student Legal Services. They're doing a program, I believe it's on October 26th from 7 p.m. in the IMU second floor ballroom. And the main program for the Student Legal Services group is renters, know the law and know your rights. And when I was made aware of that, I thought, what better opportunity than to follow up with that program and talk about Energy 101 for the folks that are already there, and talk to them about how renters can reduce energy consumption in their place, because consumption of energy means high dollars. And my focus is creating a whole generation of energy-savvy consumers. So be on the lookout for that program on October 26th.
Oh, excellent. We certainly have to keep our eyes open for that.
And speaking of student legal services, actually, there is a new show on KRUI, actually, that is on Fridays from 12:30 to 1, and they have just open questions. So you can ask any question you've ever wanted to know to a lawyer, and they'll answer it live on air. And they're asking for people to email them, and their email is sls-a-lawyer@uiowa.edu. Just a little.
Now, Sophia, I just want to let you know that you are encroaching upon my time. That's about 45 seconds, so I'm not going to be able to say some things, but maybe next time then.
You'll just have to come on our show again. How about that?
Can I?
Yeah,
okay, let's make that
sure.
date, shall we?
We'll set it up after the show.
Now, I sprung this on Sophia and Andrew just a little bit ago, is that I really like to find out how much people know about energy and how much they've been paying attention to their teachers and stuff and their parents growing up. And I gave each one of them a noisemaker, and we're going to have a series of 5 questions that I'm going to be presenting to Sophia and Andrew.
Can we show them our noises?
Yes, please, and go ahead and demonstrate.
That's Sophia's. This is going to be mine.
Wow, this is way cool.
Yep.
So the I'm going to be giving a series of 5 questions, not right after another, but throughout the course of this next 45 minutes or so. Mm-hmm. And the individual who gets the most questions right gets a free gift certificate at Starbucks from Professor Therm. So let's start off with a question, shall we? And this is going to be a multiple choice, and I don't want you to buzz in until after I've given all of the choices, because if you do, then you're disqualified. Okay, there is a really interesting building located at the intersection of Riverside and Burlington. It's in the southeast corner of that intersection near the river. This is a multiple choice. It's 4 options here. Is this an ethanol plant? Is this the University of Iowa power plant? Is this the Johnson County Courthouse? Or is this a nuclear power plant? Oh, Andrew.
Is that going to be the University of Iowa power plant?
It is the University of Iowa power plant.
I was going to say that too. You were quicker than me.
1-0. Okay, so there we go.
So when was the University of Iowa power plant first put there?
I believe the construction of the first plant in that location was roughly around 1921, thereabouts. So it's been there a very long time. And a lot of people think that it's a hydroelectric plant because it's right near a river. When it was originally built, as I understand it, there was a small hydroelectric turbine, and it did generate electricity long time ago when it was a young plant. But that system has been long since removed. So contrary to popular belief, that is not a hydroelectric plant, but it was at one time.
I was in a case competition last year, and we were doing research on that, and we thought it was a water power plant, as many people did, and we actually contacted somebody asking, like, what would it cost to make this, like, up and running again? And it was, like, totally not worth it in, like, any way. Like, you could not make it, like, make sense economically at all, but...
Just as a little aside, one of the issues or one of the important factors of having a hydroelectric plant is that you need a big elevation difference between the water level behind the dam and then the water level on the other side of the dam. And in this case, it's a very, what we call a low head dam. So even when the hydroelectric system was there, it didn't generate much power because the height difference is so small. But it does look like it could be a hydro plant, but it's not. As a matter of fact, I was talking to some staff member here a few months ago, and I asked them, do you know what that plant is? And they said, yeah, don't they make toothbrushes there? Which was a little bit disappointing.
That's a new one. I haven't heard that one. Yeah, no.
New rumor.
So one of my goals in life is to make the energy that's consumed on campus a little bit more personal to the folks that work on campus and all the students that come to class here, in that I am giving tours of the University of Iowa power plant. What's in the plant, what kind of fuels do we consume, what kind of equipment do we use to generate steam, what is steam. And we also generate about, as I understand, about 15 to 20% of all the electricity consumed on campus is generated at that plant. So I am trying to pull back the curtain a little bit and let people see behind the curtain of what happens behind the scenes on the University of Iowa campus. So if anybody would like a tour of that plant, please send me an email at Professor Therm, THERM, at uiowa.edu. And I'd love to get as many people as I can through the plant.
And we can post that on our Facebook page.
Oh, that would be perfect.
For certain. It's very interesting, too. We're very fascinated, and it's really neat to see sort of the campus energy system that we have set up and then how it actually operates. And so when we do have those conversations about looking to reduce our carbon footprint or emissions, then we need to be able to, we need to be cognizant of the fact that it is a coal-fired power plant or it's a co-generated fire power plant, and then what our energy infrastructure is on campus to know sort of the background before we can have these or start to have some of these conversations on it. And it's a really great opportunity to be able to walk through area of campus in which not a lot of people get to frequent all the time.
Absolutely. Not very many people have taken advantage of it. That's why I decided to step up to the plate and really focus on and market the tours. As a matter of fact, I gave a tour of 6 residents of People in Engineering LLC. I think it was a Monday evening, a Monday or Tuesday, and they were quite impressed with the plant. They had never seen a boiler or a turbine, and I said that next time it's 20 below outside and it's really, really cold, just remember how important it is to keep that plant running, because if that plant wasn't there, it would be really, really chilly in buildings, because that's where all the steam comes from that heats the buildings.
Yeah, I didn't know up until last year that all the heat in their buildings was all steam tubes.
Oh, really?
All throughout campus. So that was fun to learn.
Yeah.
So aside, you work and run tours through the power plant, but then what else are you known for doing on campus?
Well, I'm the primary, or I try to be the primary energy waste reduction cheerleader on campus. Okay. And I've been on board since about 3 years ago. And one of the reasons I was hired is to help meet what we call our 2020 vision net negative energy growth goal. And that was one of 7 sustainability goals that former President Sully Mason established back in 2010, 2009, I believe. And the goal that I'm focusing in on is called our net negative energy growth goal. And what that means is that by the year 2020, the total amount of energy that is consumed or delivered to campus will be less than what it was in 2010, even considering all the new buildings we built on campus.
And how many buildings is that?
Well, at this point, Campus Rec and Wellness is one of the buildings, College of Public Health, the Information Technology Facility at Oakdale. So that goal not only includes the main campus, but also the Oakdale campus, football operations, and the Papa John Biomedical Discovery Building that went online a little over a year ago.
Oh, and I guess Peterson's new dorm?
Oh, Peterson went live this summer.
And there's more coming up.
There's more coming up. There's a new art building coming up that's being built just north of Hampshire, a School of Music. And the building that really scares me is the new children's hospital that's being constructed at the UIHC. And that building by itself is 500,000 square feet. And hospitals, by their very nature, are extremely energy intensive. So just that building alone is going to create a major challenge for us to keep our energy consumption below that 2010 baseline.
How are you keeping those fears at bay?
There's a number of things that we've been doing over the past 5 or 6 years, even before that. Some of the things that we've been doing is focusing on putting energy-efficient lighting systems in buildings. And
so is that taking out the CFLs and putting in the light-emitting diodes?
Well, as a matter of fact, that's one of the things that we're focusing on right now, because the technology for LEDs has come to the point where the light output of LEDs has improved greatly over the past 5 years, and the cost has went down significantly. So we're at a point where we're going to see a major lighting revolution, not only on this campus, but probably around the country, where, just recently, as maybe 5 years ago, we replaced old-style fluorescent tubes with new energy-efficient fluorescent tubes. But the technology has advanced so far with LEDs that we are going to be seeing a major revolution in replacing the standard, not the compact fluorescents necessarily, but the tubes with LED systems.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to be really significant. And in addition to the technology for the lights themselves, we've been incorporating a lot of lighting controls, having occupancy sensors shut lights off when they detect no people in the area. So that's one of the big things we've been doing over the past 5 years and will continue to do.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. And then I was hearing through the grapevine that over this past summer, the University of Iowa campus shut down some of its buildings when it was not in use. Then they made a deal with Mid-American Energy, which supplied some of these buildings with the energy, in which they were able to shut them down when there wasn't any classes classes happening on these buildings. Is there any plans?
Let me address that real briefly. We started doing this in 2014, and we worked, the facilities team worked very closely with the registrar's office to strategically schedule classrooms in buildings to load certain buildings up with classes, and that's where a lot of the classes, especially the evening classes, were held, which would allow us to shut down other buildings a lot sooner, as early as maybe 6 o'clock. So I think we focused on 4 primary buildings. The names of them escape me at this point. But we were able to save a lot of energy by being able to shut down these 4 select buildings early and just load up the other buildings with students. And we're hoping to continue that for summer session 2016, and maybe even do something during the academic school year. That's a little bit tougher because there's so many more classes, so many more buildings in use. But we're always looking at ways to reduce consumption on campus, which involve not necessarily technology, but scheduling buildings. If we don't have people in the buildings, let's shut the buildings down earlier. So it's time for question number 2, Sophia and Andrew. The question for you at this point, and remember the rules are you don't buzz in until after the 4 options are given. What is the total annual energy bill for the University of Iowa? And that includes the coal we purchase, the electricity we purchase, the natural gas, biomass. Is it A, 900,000, B, 10,000 or 10,500,000?
No using your computer.
No cheating, Andrew. I'm looking over at you. I'm seeing you. Know what I'm saying. C, 25 million, or D, about $35 million.
I'm going to go with a D.
D, it is. It's about $35 million. Very good,
I had no idea
Sophia.
what it was, but I figured it would be the biggest one.
It is a lot, of energy. So that's 2 under our belt here. The score is 1-1. Very good.
Keeping it close. With these replacing lighting fixtures as well as older equipment, keeping these buildings retroactively checked, maintaining them online, is there any sort of other efficiency standards or programs that the university is rolling out or looking to roll out with the net negative energy growth goal?
Well, one of the new technologies that we are working with, and we're actually doing a pilot of this technology in our new Papa John Biomedical Discovery Building, and that is the implementation of a software system called Fault Detection and Diagnostics, or what we like to refer to as FDD. And what this system does, it closely monitors how all of the heating and cooling and lighting and pumping systems operate in the building to flag any problems whatsoever or any inefficiencies that the software system detects, so that the building operators can then address those issues and keep the building operating at peak energy performance. Because buildings over time decrease in energy efficiency. So every 4 or 5 years, we may have to go back in and tune the buildings up. We're hoping this technology will allow us to keep these buildings tuned up every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years. So we piloted this project in Papa John, and we're hoping to roll that out in a couple other buildings over the next 6 months, and that's really exciting. And the University of Iowa is the leader amongst higher ed moving forward with this FDD technology. And the Microsoft Corporation in Redmond, Washington helped us. We were using them as kind of a guide, because they've been into this for 3 or 4 years. So this is pretty exciting stuff, really high-tech, cutting edge.
Oh, wow. Yeah, a real-time efficiency tracker.
Exactly.
Within an entire building.
It's like the most efficient thing.
Yeah. That is so efficient.
One of the things I wanted to mention, I mentioned my title is Associate Director of Energy Conservation. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the word conservation. I've been in the energy efficiency business for 20 or 30 years. I used to work for a utility company even, and worked with their customers and helping them become more energy efficient. And one of the things I've discovered over the years is that the word conservation sometimes has a negative connotation. That when I talk to some people about conservation and what does that word mean to them, oftentimes it means I have to be too cold in the winter. I have to turn the heat way down. I have to be too hot in the summer. I got to turn my air conditioner way up, or I have to work in the dark, turn all my lights off, or any combination of those three. But as we focus on energy reduction on campus, what we are focusing on is eliminating ways that we waste energy on campus. So we're focusing on using energy more wisely and not make people suffer. So that's really the first focus of us when we look at these projects is how can we reduce consumption that nobody will even notice.
And I think sorry to jump in, but I think that's a really overarching theme in sustainability. People think like, oh, if you're sustainable, you have to like use these weird products or like do weird things. And that's not the case at all.
No, it's absolutely not the case. And one of the things I've talked to my boss about jokingly is I'd like to change my title to the Associate Director of Energy Waste Elimination, because that's really what we need to focus on, and that's the message I like to deliver to the greater university community, and even beyond. To the extent we can all avoid wasting energy, the better. And let me give you one major example. One of the pet peeves of mine that's been over the years. And I used to do energy audits for large industrial customers. And when I would go to the plant, and the first thing I would look at is, are there any lights on outside during the day? And it's amazing the number of plants that I've been to, and I even see this on the University of Iowa campus sometimes, is that I will see lights that are on outside during the day. And to me, that is just an example of pure energy waste. Because if you shut that light off, nobody would ever notice. And so that's one of the things I'm going to encourage the entire university community to do, is that if you happen to see a light on outside during the day, please feel free to drop me an email and let me be aware of that. Maybe take a picture of it and text me a picture at 515-233-4400. And I'd like to deputize all the members of the university community to be my energy waste elimination identification deputies. Now that's a mouthful.
And a title.
For sure. But it is time for another quiz question, Sophia and Andrew. So are your noisemakers ready?
They are.
Okay. I have in front of me, you can't, the listeners at this point can't see it, but it's a bag of something, and Sophia and Andrew are seeing it, and I have a feeling that Andrew probably knows, but
I'll pass it around.
Oh, yeah, let's pass it around.
There.
I think I might know it.
Okay.
That's the sound the bags make.
The University of Iowa power plant uses a certain type of biomass, otherwise we're calling it renewable energy, as a fuel to make steam. This fuel, and remember the rules, is that you can't buzz in until I've given the four up. Boy, look at those.
I think we both know we know the answer already.
The fuel is in a bag that Professor Therm is passing around. What is it? Is it A, corn, B, wood chips, C, potato chips, or D, oat hulls? Oh my gosh! Would you say, Andrew? I think. God, I feel sorry because it was so close, but I have to give it to Andrew, Sophia.
I'm going to go with D.
Okay, I will hold it against you.
Yeah, we got 2 more. So it's
going to go with D oat holes.
It's 2-1.
Can we get these from Quaker Oats?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, we do get those from the Quaker Oats facility just up the street in Cedar Rapids. And we've been getting them, I think, for, what, Andrew, 10 to 15 years?
I think so. 2003 or 2004 was the first time.
And at the time, Quaker Oats saw them as a waste product that they were just glad to get rid of. Mm-hmm. And now they realize that this product has value, so we don't get them as cheaply as what we used to. But it's a really great fuel source, and it's a lot better than landfilling them. So it's a great partnership between Quaker Oats and the University of Iowa. And I think the University of Iowa can be really proud to be participating in that. And it significantly reduces our carbon footprint.
And the waste that Quaker Oats has at their facilities and plants as well, too.
Exactly, yep.
It's further reduced. Yeah. And so these oats are co-fired with coal in our co-fired power plants. What other forms of biomass do we use in our power plants?
We also use wood chips. Comes from a mixing facility located, I think it's in Muscatine or near the Mississippi River somewhere. And we've also been experimenting with miscanthus grass, which is a very tall grass that we are looking at contracting with growers to grow in the future, specifically as a fuel for our boiler plant. And the power plant has been doing a lot of tests over the past 4 or 5 months on how best to feed this miscanthus grass into the boilers, how to handle it, how it infects combustion. So I don't think we have all the results in yet, but they've been doing a lot of work over there testing it. And this is pretty exciting stuff. And if you want to see an example of miscanthus grass, there's a little plot of it located just south of the Cambus barn, very small plot. So if you want to take a look at what is this miscanthus grass, you can see a small plot located over there.
Yeah.
Very interesting biomass project.
Miscanthus has more benefits than just being a biomass. It's also really good for the soil, and it's been proposed as a crop that farmers could grow next to corn, maybe in between corn and a water source, so not as many chemicals get into that water stream, because it is able to grow in more swampy areas. So it has a lot of cool benefits.
Yeah, so there's a lot of great benefits all the way around on that product, and as we fine-tune our process, I think it's going to be something really good for the University of Iowa going forward, continuing to increase the percentage of renewables.
Which is another 2020
vision goal.
Full circle. Excellent. So aside from hosting tours through the University of Iowa power plant, is there sort of other energy hidden segment of the campus that you want to sort of elucidate and show people?
Well, as a matter of fact, the University of Iowa is really unique amongst higher ed facilities is that we operate our own water plant. So all the water that we consume on campus is produced and pumped by our own university water plant, which is located, as a matter of fact, right across Burlington from the power plant. And this water plant brings in water from the Iowa River, treats it, cleans it up, pumps it the water tower into the buildings on campus. And one of the things that I like people to make the connection of, and not very many people do, but this is something that I'm working on, is that producing and pumping water and treating it at the wastewater plant as well is very, very energy intensive. So people often don't make the relation between energy use and water use, but the two, and I love this term, inextricably linked. That whenever we consume water, you are also increasing energy consumption at the water plant, right here at the University of Iowa campus, and then we also consume a lot of water at the Iowa City wastewater plant. So I'd really like to have everybody reduce or manage the water consumption as well. Don't waste water, because not only are you wasting the commodity of water, you are also wasting energy, because it takes a lot of energy to pump that water and then to treat it. So if anybody is interested in taking a tour of the water plant to see how we treat and pump water on campus, again, I'm the go-to person there. And the other thing that, again, I'd like to pull this curtain back and show people what's behind it is we have, again, a lot of buildings on campus, and we have a lot of equipment located behind locked doors in what we call mechanical rooms. And we have very large air handling systems that heat and cool and filter air that keeps us all nice and comfortable 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if anybody would like to have a tour of what goes on behind the scenes to keep us nice and cool and comfortable in the winter or summertime and warm in the wintertime, I'd be delighted to take people on some tours of the mechanical rooms as well. So again, to the extent we can make energy consumption a little bit more personal.
Fantastic.
For folks on campus as well. We talked a little bit earlier about energy waste, and that's one of the areas that I focus on. I was doing a little bit of research over the past year or so on what is typically known as vampire energy loads, and that might be a term that is some listeners might be aware of, but it's the little bit of energy that a lot of electronic pieces of equipment consume even when we think they're off. And I did a little experiment over in University Services building about a month ago or so, and we've got, I think, about 8 very small microwave ovens in the facility. And I decided to take my trusty little portable energy meter, take a look at this. It's about $19-20. I would recommend that everybody has one of these because it's fun to actually see how much energy some of these devices consume. And I put this energy meter on one of these microwaves when it wasn't cooking, and it registered that it was consuming 3 watts of energy. And consuming that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for absolutely no benefit other than to keep the clock going. And I did a little calculation that if we assume that we've got 500 of these microwave ovens on campus, that over the course of a year, it would consume the amount of energy or electricity that I consume in my house. So just the measly little microwave ovens, the little vampire load consumes an awful lot of energy. Again, that's pure waste. So I really liked what you were saying earlier, Sophia, about that you unplug the devices in your kitchen. If everybody would unplug their microwave ovens, we could save energy just like that, and nobody would even notice, except you wouldn't have the little clock on there. That's the only downside. So speaking of vampire energy loads, we have another question for you. So, do you have your noisemakers with you by chance?
Sure do.
All right.
Yeah.
Which of these is an example of a vampire energy load? A big screen TV that is plugged in. B, a light bulb that is on. C, a furnace. Or D, a hairdryer. I'm going to give this one to Sophia. This is going to be tough. It's 2-2. So one left. So we'll wait to hear it for another 5 or 10 minutes. So very good. Very good.
And you had mentioned, is it because of the little red light that goes on a lot of TV boxes now that creates this vampire electricity load?
It's
is it standby phasing?
Yeah, for whatever reason, and I'm not sure the technical reason, why all of these electronic devices have to have this little amount of energy, even though it's off, other than if you use a remote, it probably needs a little bit of energy to detect the remote control to turn it on. So that might be part of it. But one of the things that I've done in my home, and I have a lot of these around the house, is that I bought a number of these remote control outlets. And what I do is I plug all of my vampire load equipment into these remote control outlets, or I put it into an outlet strip, plug that into here, and then plug this into the main outlet. So when I'm ready to retire for the night, rather than going around and unplugging all these devices or going around and finding all the outlet strips and turning them off, I just go around and use my remote and shut all these devices off. So I don't have. It's very easy to make sure that all of these vampire loads are off, not consuming any energy. Because not only is it energy waste, especially for those folks that are paying your own energy bills. Andrew, are you paying your own energy bill at this one? Sophia, are you paying your own energy bill?
I live in cooperative housing, which is a whole different structure. So technically, yes, but through a nonprofit.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
Okay. Well,
I pay for my electricity.
Okay. Yes. Well, the key point is here, not only are we wasting electricity and a valuable resource, but it's making your energy bill go up.
Right, so I can save money.
You can save money, and isn't that what it's all about? So, one of the things I'd like to challenge all the listeners out there is identify all of your vampire loads in your house and focus on either unplugging them, putting them in an outlet strip and shutting the outlet strip off, or getting these nifty remote control outlets. And you should see a reduction in your energy bill right away.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And I think that recommendation is a wonderful spot to end this excellent interview segment on. We thank you. Yeah, that is a very perfect sustainability tip for all the listeners out there. You did mention that you had an upcoming event on October 26th at 7 p.m. on the second floor IMU Ballroom, and you're co-presenting with Student Legal Services about knowing your rights, but then also energy inefficiency saving tips that you can incorporate into your apartment. Is there any other events that you have?
Yes, thanks for asking, Andrew. On October 15th at 6 p.m., Professor Therm is visiting the Aspire at West Campus Apartments, talking to those residents on, again, how to reduce consumption in their apartments. And there's a couple ways that you can get a hold of me if you would like to ask me some questions or get more information. Please email me at professor-therm@uiowa.edu. Professor Therm is also sends out bi-weekly Professor Therm Energy Tip emails. If you would like to be on that subscription list, to let me know. And Professor Therm is tweeting at Professor Therm. So please follow me on Twitter.
Excellent. Well, we thank you very kindly for joining us and certainly appreciate you on the show. We'll have to have you back sometime so we can hear more of these excellent energy-saving tips.
Do we have time for one more question?
I think we do.
All right.
This is the rubber match here. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully you were listening. We talked about the 2020 Vision net negative energy growth goal. And we are comparing the energy consumption that we will see in 2020 with what base year? Is it 1959, B, 2000, C, 2005, D, 2010, or E, none of the above? Oh my gosh, Sophia, nailed it.
I'm going to go with 2010.
Yes, sir. Ma'am. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Certainly
appreciate
it.
Thank you so much. And we will post all those contacts for Professor Therm on our Facebook page. And it looks like Professor Therm has one more event. So, hey, how's it going?
I neglected to say, and I am sorry for neglecting to say this, is that through June of 2015, relative to our net negative energy growth goal, we are about 3% under our goal. So at this point, big thumbs up for the net negative energy growth goal. So I wanted to make sure to point that out. So thank you.
Thank you.